welcome to all the audience to this very useful session on taking the board exams. And we are very honored to have Professor Sufyan Sahab from Computer Engineering Department of AMU with us and sharing his experiences about the examinations and how to write better answers with all of us. So welcome to all the audience and as well as to Professor Sahab. So over to you, Professor Sahab. And I would request all the audience to be on mute. And whenever the speaker opens up the floor for discussion, only then we can have any questions or doubts or any discussion. So please take care of muting yourself during the talk, inshallah. So over to you, Professor Sahab.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum. Shukran, Saif Abrar Sahab. Jazakumullah khair for giving me this opportunity for interacting with the young students, young and budding students. When we talk about exams, the first thing that comes to our mind is, the scare. We are afraid of exams. That is where we start going wrong. I would rather put it like this, that exams are fun. If you do it like that, then it will be much easier for us to take the exams, by horns and try to enjoy the exams. How do we do that? Let us divide the timeline in 3 parts. The duration of exams in which we are actually sitting there and answering our questions, the period before that, and the period after that. So let me start in the chronological order. What about the period before exams? First thing that we have to understand is that exams are not meant to create any distress. They're not meant to create any depression. They're not there to trouble the students. Rather, the exams are there to promote the students. When we appear for the class 10th exam, that is meant to promote us to class 11th. When we sit for the exams of class 12th, that is meant to promote us to graduation. So exams are actually meant for promotion and not meant to trouble anybody. Why I'm saying this? Because in our daily life also, whenever we face any hardship, we may not like it, but then the hardship is meant to promote us to the higher level of endurance, to the higher level of patience, to the higher level of getting closer to our Creator. Because everything we believe is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from God. So obviously, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want to put us in trouble at all. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves all his creations, particularly the human beings, 70 times more than a mother loves her child. A mother would never want her children to be in distress, to be in trouble. Then why are the hardships coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Those hardships are meant to make us stronger, to make us a better human being, to make us a human being who can face all the different facets of life. So likewise, the exams are meant to make us stronger mentally. And I'll come to it. The exams are also meant to make us stronger physically. If we are getting stronger just mentally and not being stronger physically, then also the purpose of the exams are being defeated. Or I would rather say that it is being overturned, right? So the first thing we have to understand is that exams are meant to promote us and not meant to trouble us, right? If we start believing that, then exams will be fun for us, because there is that light at the end of the tunnel, that after the exams, our life will be better. We'll emerge out of these exams as a more learned person, as a stronger person, right? So exams are fun. Take it like that. Now, how to actually make it fun? The reality remains that exams are fun. But how to actually make it fun? Right? For that, we have to take things in the right earnest. We have to prepare for the exams well, so that the exams are not nightmarish. They are like a dream for us. You must have seen many people, they take adventurous sports, mountain climbing, trekking, there is so much hardship. You have to climb the steep hills. You have to face the cold weather. But people enjoy that. Why? Because they have prepared themselves well, and they are waiting for the moment in which they will scale the peak. They will climb up on the top of the mountain, because that will be the rarest of the rare sight. So likewise, if you are doing well in the exams, if you emerge out of those exams victorious, no feeling will be equivalent to being victorious and being successful in our exams. Right? Now, in order to face the exams, we have to be mentally strong. And not just mentally strong, we also have to be physically strong. You must be wondering, what does the physique has to do with the exams? Let me give you another example. Take the example of chess players. You would say that the game of chess is just a game for the minds. So we should not be worried about our physique. We should not be worried about the strength in our muscles. We shouldn't be worried about our endurance. No. You must be knowing that the chess players, they prepare themselves for the matches by taking long walks, by going to gym. Why are they being physically strong? Because unless and until you are physically strong, you won't be able to project yourself as a mentally strong person. You must have heard of that good old saying, a strong mind rests on a healthy body. If our body and our physique is healthy, then only we will be able to pose, and we will be able to pose challenges to the examiner, right? So we have to work out a timetable, a proper timetable. Exams are not overnight thing. We can't prepare for the exams in one night. Believe me, exams are not, prepared for in just one night. It is a year-long exercise. The day your first class is happening, the day your school or college is opening, that is when the preparation for the exam starts. Right? So you have to be very punctual in your classes. You have to take notes. You have to prepare notes. Taking notes is also a skill. Good students always have good notes to refer to. You must be wondering, what is the need of the notes? We have got the books, or these days we've got PPTs. No. Those PPTs, those books are meant to help us, but they are not the replacement for our personal notes. When we teach in our class, we see that whenever we teach with the PPT, the students, they take it very lightly. Okay, we'll get the PPT at the end of the lecture from sir, and we'll just go through them, and they don't prepare their notes. If you prepare your notes, that is when these things will start registering in your mind. That is when your memory will start storing all what you have to remember, right? So making notes, attending each and every class, and making notes for each and every class, regardless of how good or how bad our teacher is. All teachers are not the same. I agree. We say in Urdu, sari ungliyan barabar nahi hoti. All the fingers are not equal. Some teachers may teach very well. Some teachers may not teach that well. But then we have to study all the subjects. We can't leave those subjects which are not taught well. And we can't study more the subjects which have been taught well. No, we have to study each and every subject with equal, effort on that. It may happen that some of the subjects might appear difficult. They are appearing difficult because we are not understanding them well. If we understand them well, an interest will be developed, and we'll also study those subjects with equal ease and equal enjoyment. Study will be fun then. You see, there are many things that we don't want to eat, right? But if you keep eating them, you develop a taste for them. So likewise, there may be some subjects which you don't like, but they are equally important. So if you leave them out, it is not going to help you. It is rather going to land you in a vicious cycle. You don't like a subject, you didn't study, you won't like that subject even more. And then you won't study at all. The subject will appear more difficult, monstrous. So you have to break that vicious cycle by reading those subjects, or put more effort on those subjects which you do not like. Then you will develop a liking for them, and then you will start enjoying those subjects. There may be of concepts here and there that you might miss. But then don't get bogged down because I'm not able to understand this, so I won't progress. No, just go on, move along. After a few more topics that you cover, you can come back and visit this topic again. Never a book or a paper or anything can be read in one go. You have to take several iterations. The first time you go by it, you will be able to get the organization of that chapter or that book. The next time when you read it, things will start registering in your minds. The third time, you sit down with your pencil and pen and paper and try to make your notes for that chapter, or for the lecture that is delivered in the class, or for any PPT that you may have seen. Don't just say that PPT was there and I've seen it and that is enough. No, do make notes out of that. Whatever you understand, try to make your own notes, because it is always easier to refer to your own handwriting, to refer to your own notes, because you have expressed it the way you have understood. So that becomes easier. PPT may be prepared by someone else. So his or her approach, the approach of the teacher may not be very appealing to you, but you have registered it in your own way, right? So attend classes from day one. Don't miss a class unless it is really, really a genuine excuse to miss a class, right? A teacher is not meant to, a teacher cannot make a solution and make you drink and you will be able to understand the whole subject. Those of you who study chemistry, you must have seen the concept of catalyst. What is a catalyst? A catalyst doesn't take part in a reaction. It speeds up the reaction. So likewise, the teachers, our supervisors, our tutors, they are the catalyst. They don't take part in the reaction of learning. Rather, they speed up the process of learning. They may help us in speeding up the process of learning. We have to learn. As the good old saying goes, there is no easy way to learning. Learning has to be done the hard way, the tough way, right? There is a saying in Arabic, Man talab al-ula sahir al-layali. Those who want to climb up the ladders of success and scale the peak of the learning graph, they will strive extra hard. Right? Man talab al-ula sahir al-layali. They'll keep awake in the night, face the hardships and learn. Right? So first and the foremost thing I would say is to make your own notes. The way you understood, note it down, jot it down. Develop a habit of making notes. You may not be a good note maker in the beginning, but slowly you will learn. To the extent that even the jokes that a teacher cracks in a class, do make notes of those jokes also. Because there may be something to learn from those jokes even. Those jokes may not be out of context. Right? And then it also gives you a habit of noting down each and every word that the teacher utters in a class, the teacher teaches in a class. Right? So first thing, you have to prepare your notes well. That is what you have to learn. And that is what you have to practice. And that is what you have to be consistent with. Right? Now, whatever is taught today, try to prepare for the exam today itself. Exam for that portion, what has been taught today, prepare for it today. For example, there is a lecture of mathematics. So all the problems related to that topic, all the examples solved, unsolved, try to put them in your notebook. Try to solve them in your notebook. You see, the ultimate aim of exam is not to get a degree or to get a certificate or to pass a class. The ultimate aim of the exam is to make you learn things. If we study overnight and even if we score good marks, that concept will not be registered in our memory. It is like we ate and we threw up in the answer book. That's it. And then we will forget the concepts. Those who study the year round, they retain things for the rest of their lives. The concepts that we may have studied in class 6th or 7th or 9th or 10th, we remember for the rest of our life if we had been studying them, if we have been learning them throughout the year. In my university that I teach, the Aligarh Muslim University, we have slowly moved to a point where we have started calling the courses as papers. Paper back lag gayi. Paper mein fail ho gaye. That is what we start saying. Why? It is not a paper, it is a course. What is the difference? The course has to be learned the whole semester or the whole session. When we don't study for the whole year and we just study and try to, just swallow it in the night of the exam, we start calling it as a paper. Because we're studying just to face the exam and just to score good marks in the exams or just to pass in the exams. We're not there to learn. Right? So it has to be a year-long process. Again, I'll go back to the example of a chess player. A chess player doesn't play chess just on the day when he has a game. He keeps playing. He keeps practicing. Right? The whole year, he keeps working on that. If you don't practice, if you don't memorize, if you don't learn the whole year, in the exams, the minimum that would happen is that you'll get nervous. You would lose that confidence. And the lack of the confidence, even if you know things, will not let you score good marks, will not let you answer the questions well. Right? So whatever is taught in the class today, try to prepare for the exam today itself by making notes, by preparing all the examples and their solutions, and keep it ready. Right? Now, second thing, as I said, stick to your timetable. Stick to your timetable. This is the time for my studies. This is the time to play. This is the time to eat. And this is the time to sleep. Make a timetable and stick to that timetable to the extent possible. Even those good students, what they do, they stick to the timetable for the weekdays, but on the weekend we falter. आज तो Sunday, आज तो सोते हैं. No, that is a bad habit. Even on a Sunday, we have to pray Fajr. Even on a Sunday, we have to take the morning walk. Even on a Sunday, we have to do all what we had been doing. We may be a little relaxed. I don't disagree with that. But then Sunday doesn't mean that all what we had been doing throughout the week, we have to undo it. No. Right? That is going to spoil our habit. Now, what will happen? The whole week, we won't be asserting ourselves and we'll just be simply waiting for the Sunday to arrive so that we can unwind. We can just throw everything, every timetable out of the window. Okay? So stick to your timetable. Do make a timetable and please do stick to your timetable. That gives you a disciplined life. Discipline is very important to score anywhere. May it the game of cricket, may it the game of chess, or may it be studies, or may it be business, or may it be anything. Discipline is very important. A disciplined life, even for our health, a disciplined life is very important. Right? So, stick to your timetable. Now, timetable should not be such that you are studying late in the night. Studying late in the night is the worst thing to do. Why I'm saying this? Because in the night, our mind is already exhausted. And that is when our efficiency goes down. And then we are trying to study. So we study with the least efficiency in the night. Immediately after sunset, or let me say immediately after Maghrib Salah, we should sit down to study. We should study till Isha time. At Isha time, we should get up. Just before Isha, we may have dinner. And then we pray Isha so that we do get time for the dinner to be digested a little bit. And then we sit down for studies again. Somewhere like 10:30, 11, we should go to sleep. Even if we have exam tomorrow, sleep early. If you are under too much pressure to study, you sleep early and then rise early. Get up at tahajjud time. Keep your books, notebooks next to your bed. And if it is a cold weather like what we have in the North India at this point of the year, you may wrap a blanket around yourself and study then. If there is tawfiq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make wudu, pray 2 rakat tahajjud, 4 rakat tahajjud, pray for a little time and then start studying. Even if you're not praying tahajjud, that is the best time to study because your mind is fresh. आपका mind fresh है बिल्कुल, rested mind है. Whatever you will be able to study in the early morning in half an hour, you won't be able to study that much for 2 hours in late night. In my student days, even though I used to score well, I never studied late in the night. I never heard a clock striking 12 in the night during my student days. I used to sleep early and then I used to get up early and study. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m., whenever. When you study early, you will get up early, right? And that way you won't even miss your Fajr Salah. Usually what happens? Slowly, the entire thing gets topsy-turvy, upside down. We are keeping awake in the night and we are studying during the day. We are sleeping during the day. So things have gone upside down. Quran says, وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا وَجَعَلْنَا النَّهَارَ مَعَاشًا. The day is meant to work hard and the night is meant to take rest. Why do we want to make this natural thing go into an unnatural mode? So please study well. Start studying immediately after Maghrib, and by 10:30 or 11, go to bed. If you have under pressure to study, then get up early in the morning and study. That is the best time to study, right? Your mind is most efficient during that part of the day. Achha, how do you study? Study the way you have to take the exams. You have to take the exams in writing, so prepare by writing. What all notes you have? Try to write and rewrite those notes in order to memorize. If you have the solutions of your problem, solve the same problem over and over again, so that it gets registered in your mind and you are able to repeat it in the exam. Suppose I memorized something and I didn't write it. At the time of exam, I'll run out of my memory. I won't be able to put it in writing because I haven't practiced writing. So, koi solution hai, koi problem hai, whatever we have, write and memorize. Write and memorize. Take rough notebook, rough papers, cheap, inexpensive papers, and write it again and again and again. Any mathematical problem, keep repeating those steps again and again. Solve it, then close it, solve again on another piece of paper. That is how you memorize. So the way the exam is to be taken, you have to memorize in much the same way. We tell all the Hafidul Quran, those who memorize Quran, we tell them that your exam of your Hifz is at the time of Taraweeh. So you have to prepare the way you have to lead in Taraweeh. That is the best way to memorize Quran, to keep it in your memory. You have to recite it in Salah, because that is how you have to lead in Taraweeh. If you have to read in Taraweeh in Salah and we keep memorizing by looking at Quran or by sitting and closing the Quran, that won't suffice. So by this example, I want to assert that you have to prepare for the exams the way the exam is to be taken. If it is a written exam, prepare by writing. Prepare by writing. And you have to study your syllabus, your book, cover to cover. Read each and every single word, each and every single letter, each and every single topic. Don't make selective reading. Selective reading might fetch you good marks. But as I said a little while ago, marks should not be what you are after. You are after learning, getting those concepts. So study from book to book. The teacher may not have taught all the topics or may not have solved all the problems, but you have to do it. And you may also have to consult many books in order to get different kinds of problems. So study as many books, consult as many big books on that topic as possible. And also make a preparation for the timed exam. These solutions, this problem I have to solve in 15 minutes. Keep a watch and see whether you are able to solve that problem in 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever target you have set for yourself. Right? Have good eating habits, healthy habits. Right? Prepare yourself physically in order to take the exams. Now, when the time for exams arrive, you should have taken a good rest in the night before the exam. If you had been studying the whole night long, and that will happen when you haven't prepared for the whole year, you will study the whole night. At the time of exam, when the question paper is given to you, you will go blank. Even if you have memorized things, you'll go blank. The very basic things you may not be able to understand. So take good rest in the night before the exam. And that will happen only when you have studied the whole year. So things are linked with each other, right? Eat moderate meals before going for the exams. Don't go hungry and don't go full. Take moderate meals. Enough to give you energy. We think that we need energy just in our limbs, in our hands and legs. No, we need energy in our minds also. Mind is a good consumer of energy. So eat moderate meals, right? Dress well. Take a shower before going for the exams so that you are fresh. Okay? And take some extra pens with you, so that if you run out of one pen, you should have another spare pen with you right there. Okay? And all your things should be with you. Don't leave your home in a haste. That I have to go for the exams. I've been studying till the last moment. Now I'm falling short of time and I'm running and I'm leaving things behind. And then the pressure builds up. No. Try to pace up yourself in such a way that you're able to reach the examination hall well in time. Don't go too early because then you'll be wasting time. And don't go too late either, so that you are there. You see, all our lessons have been taught in our religion. We are told not to run for the salah when we are going to pray salah with Jama'ah. We are told not to run. Why? Because if we are running and going for salah, that means when we'll enter the mosque, we'll be breathless. Our heart is thumping. How can we stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in such a situation? If we go to a king, do we go like that? No. So that has been our training the whole year. At the time of exam also, we shouldn't have to run. We have to walk, and we have to walk in a moderate manner, so that once we enter the exam, our heart is not pounding, and we are not out of breath. We're not out of oxygen. If we are out of breath and our heart is thumping and pounding, and then the question paper comes, so things become complicated, things become compounded. The heart will start pounding even more, and we'll be short of oxygen even more. So we have to do things with grace, in a graceful manner, right? So all our things we have to check before leaving for the examination hall. Our hall ticket should be there. There should be a ruler, a pencil, a razor, the sharpener, extra pens with us, right? Now, when we enter the examination hall, obviously we have to look for our seat. We have to sit there, right? And then you start focusing on the exam. That will be possible only when our minds are focused before the exam. If our minds are not focused before the exams, we won't be able to maintain during the exam. You may see all around you, your friends who are always busy with the social media, with YouTube, with this and that. They're not focused. They won't be able to focus on their studies. They won't be able to focus in the examination hall. They won't be able to focus on a topic. So all such distractions we have to do away with. Let us not have any addiction. Addiction for smartphones or addiction for anything is bad. Addiction of anything is bad. Even if it is tea, addiction of tea is also bad. Let us not be slave to anything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us the masterpiece creation. Let us remain a master. Let us not be a slave to our addictions, to our desires, to our, willful expectations. So, be there in the examination hall in a focused manner. And that is what, again, Salah teaches us to be focused. Pray as if you are watching Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or the minimum is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching you. This quality of ihsan is meant to keep us focused in our life. Whatever we do, we give 100% to it. We give 100% to it. And we are focused. Right? So sit down in the examination hall, regain and try to, regain your focus. Right? Get the answer book, write your name cleanly, your roll number, whatever details have to be put on it. And then there are some prayers also. The famous prayer, what Musa alayhi salatu wassalam prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. The famous prayer. When Musa alayhi salatu wassalam had to go to Fir'aun, this is what he prayed. Oh Allah, open my chest, open my heart, and make things easy for me. So these are a few verses that you may quickly recite. Likewise, you may recite Alam nashrah laka sadrak, that surah, that you may recite. And always we have to keep praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his help. Because without the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we cannot do even the least bit. So say your prayers, focus, and these prayers are meant to make you focus, to take you out of all the distractions that you may have been before. These prayers are meant exactly for that purpose. Now, when the question paper comes, go through the entire question paper once. Don't rush in answering. Go through the question paper. Take the easy questions first. Take the easy questions first. Don't go for the hard ones first, because then you will get dejected, depressed, if you are not able to solve the hard questions. So take those easy questions first. Write in a neat and clean manner, but there is no need to decorate your answer book. I've seen quite a few answer books where you've got multiple colors and, some flowers even, or a lot of margin lines and all. No need to decorate your answer book. It should be neat and clean nevertheless, but don't be too, flashy and too colorful, right? You may take one or two colors of the pen, but then don't be too flashy. So go through the entire question paper first, so that you're able to register in your memory what kind of questions have been asked and how are you going to answer. Maybe you are answering question 1 right now, but at the back of your mind, you're also, since you have seen question 2 already, you will be thinking about question 2 also. And when the actual time for question 2 comes, you will be able to answer it in a better way. So it always helps to go through the entire question paper first. Time your exams in proportion to the marks allotted to each question. For example, the question paper is for 100 marks, right? And you have 3 hours to answer. That means 180 minutes to answer. So approximately you have got 1.8 minute per mark. So likewise, make a quick assessment of how much time has to be given to each question. For example, a question is worth 10 marks. So that means you have 18 minutes to score, 18 minutes to answer that exam, right? What happens? There may be a question which is of lesser marks and you devoted more time to it, so you lost. They have to be paced up in such a manner that it should be in proportion to the marks allotted to that question. Also, start answering a fresh question from a fresh page. There may be a few lines left. Don't bother about them. Start a new question from a fresh page. It happens that when you are revising at the end, you might want to add 1 or 2 points, but you don't have space there left. So start a fresh question from a fresh page, right? Also, if there is any rough work to be done, don't do it at the back of the answer book. Make a margin on the right on that very page and do the rough work there. It helps you in two ways. Firstly, you don't have to keep flipping pages back and forth and wasting your precious time. Also, the examiner might have a look at your rough work and might get impressed with your approach. Even if you have landed up in a wrong answer, the rough work will give a clue to the examiner that you were going right, somewhere you deviated. So you will get the benefit of that rough work even. What you can do towards the write rough work on top, and towards the end, you may strike it off. Strike it off means just draw one cross line. Don't, scribble like erasing each and every word of it. No, just strike off the right margin that you have used for your rough work. Right? Acha. Also, it is better to have your own water with you if they allow in the examination hall, so that whenever you're thirsty, take a sip or two. Otherwise, you're looking for water person to give you some water, and then your efficiency goes down because you're feeling thirsty. So as I said, whatever you require, you should prepare yourself for that before reaching the examination hall. And obviously, cheating, copying from someone else should be completely ruled out, because it has many, many, many negative connotations. Number one, you won't have confidence on yourself. You will have confidence on your cheat slip, or you will have confidence in your friends that are sitting around. Secondly, cheating is prohibited in our religion. So we should not be relying on something which is forbidden in Islam. Thirdly, even if you are able to cheat and pass your exams, the degree that you will get, and because of the degree, the job you will land in, that will fetch you haram rizq. That will fetch you haram meals. Because the degree on the basis of which you have got that job and your salary is based on the cheating in the exam. So please never cheat in the exam. You should have confidence on yourself. Prepare yourself well. Whatever you can do it on your own. Right? And that will save you time also. Otherwise, you are looking here and there to your friends, to your neighbors, that they might help you to peep into their answer books, and you are wasting your own time. The precious time, those 3 hours are so important. Again, I'll give you the example. There is a hadith, a saying of the Prophet ﷺ, that even those who enter paradise will regret one thing. So the Mubarak companions, the Sahaba, they were surprised. Somebody who's entered into Jannah, into paradise, he's even regretful. So Prophet ﷺ said, yes, they will regret those precious moments that they have lost in this worldly life without the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, without zikr. So each and every moment is important. So likewise, each and every moment in the examination hall is important. That is fetching you marks. Your counter of marks is going up. The way you are answering questions. In exams like English or some subject, or if in any exam it is written that you have to answer it in so many words, so please stick to that word limit. Not that I know more, I go on writing. Then that will dent me in two ways. Firstly, I'll lose precious time. The exam, that answer had to be given in 100 words, and I wrote 200 words. as a learned person, as somebody who is passing a good exam, we have to practice that. We have to say our things in a very short moment, short duration, or we should be able to elaborate for hours together. Both the qualities have to be developed. छोटे में शॉर्ट में कोई बात कहनी, that also we have to learn, और उसी बात को elaborate करना है लंबा, that also we have to learn. If we're not learning either of the two things, then we are failing in our mission. So the answer has to be given in 100 marks. So please answer it in 100 words. So please answer it in 100 words only. Plus minus 2, 3, 5 words. That is not a big deal. But don't make it like 200 words. Or don't leave it short like 50 words either. So please subscribe to the word limit. Stick to the word limit that is given to you. As a teacher, I'll pass on a few tips to you. Whenever we set a question paper, we set it in such a way that there should be a few questions which the entire class should be able to answer. There should be a few questions that the average students should be able to answer. And there should be a few questions that only excellent students should be able to answer. So keep yourself in the list where you are able to answer all the questions. You should be capable of answering even those questions which are having the choice. You should be capable of answering. I'm not saying that you answer even the choice questions. What I'm saying is that you should be able to answer, should be capable of answering all the questions. Don't do selective study that, okay, if it comes, I'll leave it in a choice. No. If you leave it in a choice, that will dent you later. You must have heard of that joke in which a patient came to a doctor. The doctor said, no, this is a very chronic disease. I won't be able to treat. He said, is it untreatable? They said, no, it is not untreatable. It is just that when it was taught in the class, I was absent on that day. So you can't get away by saying that I haven't prepared this topic for some reason or the other. We have to be prepared for each and everything, right? And pace up your answering in such a way that you're able to answer the entire question paper, right? If it is a multiple choice questions, take several iterations to solve such a question paper. In the competitive exams where there is multiple choice questions, in the first iteration, solve all such questions which you can do in a flash. The second iteration, take those questions which require a little bit of time. In the third iteration, try to solve the remaining questions. All the questions are of equal marks, 1 mark each, for example, multiple choice. You devoted 5 minutes to one question. So that means all such questions which could have been done in a flash, 5 of them you missed. So you scored 1 mark at the cost of 5 marks. So take several iterations of answering multiple choice questions, right? Now, I've talked about how to be before the exam and how to be during the exam. Now, what remains is to be discussed. What should we do after the exams? That also we have to understand. After the exam, the story doesn't end. The story starts from there. Somebody after doing BTech, he says, that is the end of engineering. No, this is the start of engineering for him. Somebody after completing MBBS says, this is the end of medicine for me. No, this is a starting point for you. So likewise, the end of the exam is not the end of that subject. It is the beginning. Now, what all you have learned, this is the time to put it into practice. Many students, okay, again, take it as a joke. When we were students, after an exam, some students some of my classmates, they started planning to go to a movie. I said, no, one day after we have another exam. Why do you want to go to a movie? So you know what did they say? They said, Sufyan, जो कुछ आज पढ़ा है पहले वो भूलेंगे तब तो अगला पढ़ेंगे. Whatever we have memorized for today, let us forget that first before we start preparing for the next exam. Hilarious and pathetic. We are not studying to forget. We are studying to retain. So please, please, do not give up that subject the day you finish with its exams. Keep all your notes intact. Keep all your memory intact. Keep all the concepts intact. You never know when a particular concept you will require in the rest of your life. Right? So the examination or the degree or the certificate thereof comes with a responsibility. If I've done BTech, if I've done class 10th, if I've done class 12, that has come with a responsibility. People are looking up to me as an educated person. So I have to keep my status as a learned person intact, right? That responsibility I have to live up to, right? So I think I'll stop here and I'll take questions now. I've tried to share my experience with you all. There is so much more that could be said, but this is the whole concept of Bloom's taxonomy, in which we talk about knowledge as the first step, then comprehension on top of it. What all we understood, what all we have the knowledge of, we should be able to comprehend. For example, we know that Earth is round. Now, what is the comprehension? What do we mean by round? Then its application is the third layer. How can we apply our knowledge? How can we analyze? How can we synthesize? How can we evaluate? Benjamin Bloom gave this learning taxonomy 6 levels. The first one is knowledge. The second one is, on top of it is comprehension, and then application, and on top of it analysis, and then synthesis and evaluation. So at least knowledge, comprehension, application, the 3 lower layers, all of us have to do. Analysis, synthesis, evaluation, only the good students, excellent students do. So there's so much more elaboration that can be done, but I'll stop here. I'll take questions. Yeah, please go ahead with your questions. I can see. Okay, somebody is asking, what is the exact time of getting early morning? See, the best time is tahajjud and the last time is fajr. See, if we are not planning for fajr, that means we are giving myself the leeway to sleep late. If I have at the back of my mind that I have to get up for fajr, I'll sleep early. If I don't care for fajr, today I'll get up at 7, tomorrow I'll get up at 8, the day after at 9, the day after at 10, and the vicious circle will keep getting into. So for us, the guidelines for our timetable is the 5 times salah. That is how our life should rotate around. Yeah. Any other question? You can write in the chat box or you can unmute yourself and ask. Yes, anything from anybody? Any comment? If not a question, any comment? Anything that you want me to know? Okay, somebody's asking what should be added in answer that the examiner gets impressed. See, being up to the point, that is what impresses the examiner the most. If we start telling stories and we are not being on mark, on target, the examiner gets irritated. So giving up to the point answers is what impresses the examiner the most. That is what my short answer would be. If we forget the answers in exam, what should we do? See, as I said, we are forgetting the answer just because we have tried to memorize it overnight. If we had been studying the whole year round, we won't forget, inshallah. But if we forget, don't get bogged down. Move on to the next question. Answer the next question. It is very likely that you will recall the answer. And when you recall, make a note of it somewhere in the rough, that this is how I'm going to answer, right? Okay, what to do if we are tense in the examination hall? Again, we would be tense because we haven't prepared well. As I said, I've been repeatedly saying that lack of confidence, lack of focus, that makes us tense in the examination hall. Take a deep breath. Pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri. You see, Musa alayhi salatu wassalam had stammering and he had to go to Fir'aun, the most cruel king. But he recited these verses and he went. Okay. Pray for God is helpful. Our life to improve memories, the questions or not? Yes, it is. In fact, some of the great scholars have said that staying away from sins makes your memory sharper. Staying away from sins makes your memory sharper. Cleanliness, that makes your memory sharper. Reciting Quran, that makes your memory sharper. So these are the ways by which we can make our memories sharper. पेपर देने के टाइम पर एंजाइटी हो गया तो यस आई हैव बीन सेइंग दैट विल हैपन. एंजाइटी होगा अगर हमने उसको साल भर नहीं पढ़ा है. तो साल भर पढ़ेंगे तो एंजाइटी नहीं होगा. साल भर पढ़ा है, लिख के उसका आंसर याद किया है, तो एंजाइटी नहीं होगा. आई एम आंसरिंग इन उर्दू बिकॉज द क्वेश्चन वाज इन उर्दू, है ना. तो अगर एंजाइटी इसलिए हो रहा है कि हमने उसको साल भर नहीं पढ़ा है, लिख कर याद नहीं किया. साल भर पढ़ा और लिख कर याद नहीं किया, तब भी एंजाइटी हो जाएगा, क्योंकि वहां पर लिख कर बताना है. तो उसको लिख कर याद करना है, जैसे बताना है वैसे याद करना है. Assalamu alaikum, sir. What should we do if someone bully us, calling us teachers, pet and all? Anyhow, they are trying to demotivate us. What is the solution, sir? देखिए, being a pet to a teacher is not bad at all, because a teacher has to be taken in a high esteem, right? If our conscience is clear, we are not close to a teacher just because we want to take some undue benefits from the teacher in terms of getting to know the important questions, the important part of the syllabus. That should, if that is not our motive, somebody calling us a pet, we should bother the least about, right? And you are right, they are trying to demotivate us by saying all this. These are all negative tactics. If in the game of cricket, you must have heard about sledging. So this is sledging. A player is playing very well, they sledge in order to make him weaker and weaker. So they are basically sledging by calling us the teacher's pet. So don't get bogged down. Don't listen to such people. Try to keep your relationships with the teacher well. How much time we get to write one subject paper? That varies from exam to exam. Some exams are for 2 hours, some are 3 hours. My point is that you have to distribute your examination time in proportion to the questions, the marks allotted to that question. And I gave you the example also. 100 marks, 180 minutes. That means 1 mark is 1.8 minutes. 10 marks means 18 minutes. You have to devote. So regardless of how long or what is the duration of the exam, you have to divide your time in proportion to the marks allotted to the questions. Jazakumullah khair wa iyyakum. Alhamdulillah, it has helped us. At times we get upset and we feel like giving up, specifically at the time of exams. What have to be done? I agree, there are ups and downs in life. Sometimes we feel low, sometimes we feel high. Remember one thing, whenever we are low and we feel like giving up, at such points of time, doing extra gives you extra benefit. Again, let me give you an example. There are times when we want to pray salah, and there are times when we don't want to pray salah. It happens with everybody. At times we want to pray salah, and at times we don't want to pray salah. Praying salah will always fetch us virtues. But when we do not feel like praying salah and then we pray, it takes us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more. When we feel like praying and we pray, we'll get closer, but not to the extent that when we don't feel like praying and we pray. You know why I'm saying this? Because when we feel like praying and we pray, we get the pleasure out of it. But when we don't feel like praying and we pray, we are not doing it for pleasure. We are doing it for pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there are ups and downs, lows and highs. Be consistent. Be perseverant in all the different situations. That is what I can say. How should we present the paper neatly? See, we all tend to commit mistakes. The best way is to strike it. Don't make too dirty by striking it. As I said, don't do like this. Striking and striking and striking again and again. Just strike it off once. So that way, even if you're committing a mistake, our answer will remain neat. Should we make a column beside the answer book for rough work? Why? Yes, as I said, see, on the left-hand side, we leave the margin. On the right-hand side, also, you make a margin and do the rough work there. I gave you the benefits of the same. The teacher will have a peep into your thought process and will get impressed. Somebody was asking how to impress a teacher. So even your rough work may impress a teacher. Secondly, you don't have to flip pages back and forth. If you're doing the rough work at the back of it, and then you're coming back to the main question, then again doing rough work there. So you're doing back and forth. That is killing your time, right? At the end of it, you write rough work on top, and at the end of it, you may strike it. Even if you don't strike it, rough work means the teacher will not evaluate it. How to keep distractions away, sir? See, distractions, the best way is to remain focused on our timetable. That is the best way. When we don't stick to the timetable, we lose focus. So make a timetable and stick to it. Time for salah, make salah. Time for studies, do study. Time for eating, do eat. Right? So that is the best way to remain focused. Sir, we can put the line of answer. It should be easy. Line of answer, do you mean after completing the solution, you want to draw a line? Yes, you can do that. But a better thing is to start a fresh question from a fresh page. So that if you have to add a few points later, you should be able to get space for that. Should we make a column beside the answer book? Why? Yes, for the rough work, as I explained just now. टाइम कैसा मैनेजमेंट करें, बिकॉज एंट्रेंस की भी तैयारी करना है. अच्छा, देखिए, फिर अगेन आई वुड से कि टाइम टेबल बनाना है. एक बार टाइम टेबल बनाना है, फिर उस टाइम टेबल पे स्टिक करना है. टाइम टेबल में बताइए कि ये मुझे क्लास 12th के लिए पढ़ना है, ये मुझे एंट्रेंस के लिए इतनी देर पढ़ना है. 1 घंटा 12th के लिए, 2 घंटा एंट्रेंस के लिए, या जो भी आप एक बार बैठकर तय करो, फिर उस पर स्टिक करो. हो सकता है 15 दिन बाद, 20 दिन बाद आप उसको रिविजिट कर लें एंड टाइम को अपने आप एडजस्ट कर लें, बट स्टिक टू योर टाइम टेबल. अदरवाइज आप 12th पढ़ना शुरू किया तो 12th ही पढ़ते जा रहे हैं, एंट्रेंस छूट जाएगा. एंट्रेंस पढ़ना शुरू किया तो 12th छूट गया, वो नहीं हुआ. तो इसलिए टाइम टेबल बनाना है, उस पर स्टिक करना है. हाउ शुड वी प्रिपेयर फॉर द एग्जाम? ये तो पूरी टॉक इसी पर थी. हाउ टू प्रिपेयर, यू हैव टू बी फिजिकली स्ट्रांग, यू हैव टू बी फिजिकली फिट, you have to be mentally focused, mentally perseverant, है ना. ये सारी बातें अभी हुई. अगर मुझे कुछ नहीं आता तो आज से ही कैसे शुरू करूं सेल्फ स्टडी? देखिए, आपके क्वेश्चन में आंसर है। अगर आज से शुरू कर देंगे तो शुरू हो जाएगा, और आप कहेंगे कल से शुरू करूंगा तो नहीं हो पाएगा। जो बताया गया वो आज से शुरू करना है। देखिए, अभी आपके आसिर का वक्त हो रहा है, आसिर से मगरिब तक आप जो काम करना है, टहलना, घूमना, खेलना, कर लो। आज मगरिब से बैठना है आपको पढ़ने, मगरिब बाद से, और रात में 10:30 11 तक पढ़ना है। बीच में सिर्फ ईशा और खाने के लिए उठना है, और 10:30 11 पे सो जाना है, 11 बजे सो जाना है, और सुबह उठ के फिर पढ़ना है। ठीक है, और फजर पढ़नी है। फिर कल अगर स्कूल है तो स्कूल जाना है, क्लास अटेंड करनी है। तो आज से शुरू कर देंगे तो हो जाएगा। और आपने सोचा कल से शुरू करूंगा तो नहीं होगा, और अगर ये सोचा कि आज संडे कल मंडे से शुरू करूंगा तब भी नहीं होगा। ठीक है, sometimes the questions in exams are very difficult, which we do not know, but then we write them for ourselves. So how do we do that type of question, and what should we write in it? देखिए, मैंने आपको बताया कि क्वेश्चंस, कोई भी अच्छा पेपर सेटर, a good paper setter is going to set 3 levels of questions. One level everybody should be able to solve, the second average students, and the third only good students will be able to solve. So some questions will be difficult and should be difficult. They are meant to they are meant to differentiate between good students and average students and bad students. ठीक है, तो कुछ ना कुछ तो डिफिकल्ट होगा. दैट इज व्हाट यू हैव टू टेक इट एज ए चैलेंज. अभी हरिडली जो मैंने ब्लूम्स टेक्सोनॉमी चेक टच की, तो उसके अंदर भी यही है. एज यू गो क्लाइंब अप द लैडर्स ऑफ लर्निंग, यू क्लाइंब अप द लैडर्स ऑफ डिफिकल्टी, है ना. तो अगर आप कवर टू कवर पढ़ेंगे, नोट्स बनाएंगे, इफ यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग बाय राइटिंग एंड यू आर फोकस्ड, then nothing will be difficult for you. You know, people, they erect a rope across a river and then they walk on that rope. Such a difficult task. You go to a circus, people do such difficult things with so much ease. How did they do? Practice. So no question will be difficult if you practice. If you have less time and reading is more, what should we do? See, efficient reading, that also is a skill. We need another lecture for that, but very briefly, let me tell you, I also touched upon it. Reading has to be done in several iterations. Once you give it a rapid reading, so that the organization of the text gets registered in your mind. The next time around, read it again. Now you will start making sense out of it. If you start understanding everything from the very beginning, you will go very slow, and you may leave out many things unread at all. So try to take several iterations. Even if you're not able to finish third or fourth iteration, at least second iteration will get some things registered in your mind. And then you will gain confidence. You won't be depressed that I haven't read so much part. So it is better to take several iterations of reading also. What should be the pattern of notes, sir? In a way, children write notes more than books. Some finish one chapter in one page. What is the correct pattern? See, correct pattern is again being homogeneous. ये नहीं एक टॉपिक बहुत अच्छे से और दूसरा टॉपिक छोड़ दिया, ऐसा नहीं है. Pay equal emphasis to all the topics. Jot down all the major points. Notes में grammar is not very important, but jotting down all such points that make sense is more important. ठीक है? So scribble fast so that everything is recorded. So if you start recording everything, your notes will be good. Again, somebody is asking how to keep away from distractions. As I said, you know, a great scholar of statistics, in early 60s, he was going to France. So he went to a scholar and asked, give me some parting advice. And you know, he gave just one sentence of advice. Please remember forever. I'll say it in Urdu first and then I'll translate. He said, करने के कामों को करोगे तो अल्लाह ताला ना करने के कामों से तुमको रोकेगा. करने के काम करोगे तो ना करने के काम से बचोगे. Now let me translate. If you do what we are supposed to do, then we'll keep away from what we are not supposed to do. If we do what we are supposed to do, then we'll keep away from what we are not supposed to do. This is the human tendency that we can't sit idle. We'll do one thing or the other. So better to do constructive things, or else we may get into destructive things. So if we keep ourselves engaged with what we are supposed to do, we don't sit idle, then we will save away from distractions. How to keep focus maintained for long time? See, long time is a very relative term. An hour or so is good. But keeping focus beyond that may not be possible as a human being. And that is why, 5 times salah. That is meant to give our mind a little bit of rest. We can't study 24 hours. So better to get up for salah, make wuzu, salah, and then get back to studies. So that will definitely help you in keeping focus for longer times. In science examination, which part should we attempt first, biology or physics or chemistry? See, again, it is not about the subject. It is about solving easier questions first and then taking difficult questions later. Overthinking on mind, negative on mind, how to be positive. See, negative thinking, that is from shaitan. Shaitan is our enemy. He has said that Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, because of whom I have been turned out of paradise, out of Jannah, I am going to take his progeny into Jahannam with me. So negative thoughts are coming from shaitan. So we have to cut our negative thoughts immediately. And we have to go positive, that Allah is with me, Allah is going to help me, Allah is going to provide me with all the, all the strength that I must have. Negative thoughts are best to be discontinued, and positive thoughts are best to be developed. Right? And that is what we have to train our minds with. And that again can be done through salah. As I said in my talk, when we pray with such a feeling that I am watching Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the minimum that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching me, I can control my thought process with that practice in my salah. Sir, in answer, main points, we should put line through pencil. It should be easy to get marks. No, sir. No. You mean underlining? No, underlining is not going to help. It is better to write in a free flow. The teacher will go through it. Don't be too long. Don't be too short. Keep it moderate, and you will score. Okay, now a lot of questions are repeating. Distractions away, I've told. Procrastinating in studying. Thank you so much. Wonderful meeting. MashaAllah, nice speech, encouraging students. टाइम का मैनेजमेंट करा बिकॉज एंट्रेंस का भी तैयारी करना है, तो सब हो गया ना. अच्छा, हाउ टू फोकस इन स्टडी व्हाइल वी आर डिस्ट्रैक्टेड ऑन सोशल मीडिया. अगेन, एज आई सेड, वी कैन कीप अवे फ्रॉम सोशल मीडिया बाय स्टिकिंग टू टाइम टेबल. अपने टाइम टेबल में सोशल मीडिया का टाइम रखो, 15 मिनट, आधा घंटा, 1 घंटा रख लो सोशल मीडिया का, बट नॉट अ मिनट बियॉन्ड व्हाट यू हैव सेट फॉर योरसेल्फ. टाइम रखो, सोशल मीडिया का टाइम रख लो आप, बट नॉट अ मिनट बियॉन्ड. Otherwise, it is an addiction. The whole day you will spend. In some subject, we don't understand the answer. It will be like a history. What should be done to understand an answer in para subjects like social, geo, and history? See, all such subjective or essay type subjects, they have to be taken as stories. History, if you have to study, take it as a story. Geography is like some travelogue. Take it as a travelogue. So that will make it easier to learn. So take it as a narration or a story or a travelogue, and that way you will be able to memorize it well. And making notes obviously will help you more. If you have less time and reading concepts is more, then what we do? Divide your time in proportion to the concepts that you have to study. Don't leave out concepts. Give lesser time to all the concepts. We have to make timetable for studying, not just for studying, also for the entire 24 hours. Make timetable for the entire 24 hours. How to concentrate, how to focus, all this we have answered. How to remember all dates of history and equations of chemistry? By writing. I'm saying write them over and over and over again. You will memorize. Distraction, power of focus. Sitting an exam question was forget or not memories. What should we do? That is time. See, we forget because we haven't studied the whole year. If we study the whole year, we won't. Sir, in Telugu, we don't know the meaning of Telugu words. My mother tongue is Urdu only. We know how to read Telugu and how to write, but don't know the meaning of those words. So in such situation, what do I do in board? Because more number of Muslims don't know Telugu. So how? See, this is somebody who knows Telugu may be able to answer, but let me give you an example. Hafidul Quran. He can read, he can write, but he doesn't understand. So such things you can memorize and prepare for such language courses just the way we memorize Quran. Sir, after a second PU exam, can a Muslim girl go to degree college? Yeah, why not? Why not? There are degree colleges where you can go. मेमोरीज करना सही है या टॉपिक को अंडरस्टैंड करना है? एग्जाम में मेमोरीज करने पे याद रहेगा या अंडरस्टैंड करने में? देखिए, आपको लिखकर याद करना है. आई एम सेइंग ओवर एंड अगेन. आप लिखकर याद करेंगे तो आपको याद रहेगा. अंडरस्टैंड भी करना है. मैंने बताया ना, ब्लूम्स लेवल ऑफ टेक्सोनॉमी. नॉलेज है, फिर उसके बाद उसका कॉम्प्रिहेंशन है, फिर एप्लीकेशन है. तो सबसे पहले तो याद करना है, फिर समझना है, फिर अप्लाई करना है. ये तीनों चीजें आनी है. When the questions are hard, what we have to do, sir? देखिए, जब हार्ड क्वेश्चन होता है तो मार्किंग लीनियंट होती है. The marking is lenient when the question paper is tough. So the teacher will give you marks even when you attempt. Right? So don't get bogged down by tough questions. Try solving them. Even if you're not able to reach to the solution, the very approach will fetch you some marks. How to write the paper in the exam? You have to write by dividing time. How to manage time with all the subjects? As I said, make a timetable for your studies, just as you're making timetable for the entire 24 hours. How many pages write in 150 words? See, that depends on the page size and your handwriting size. What you can do, you can count the number of words in a line and then multiply with as many lines that you have to write there. Sir, घर का काम और study manage कैसे करना, sir? Again, that timetable has to be stuck to. Tell your mother, father that, tell your parents that this is the time that I'm going to help you with the daily chorus. Whatever you want me to do, please tell me. I'll do it in this time slot. Rest of the time I have to study. So make timetable. How to mark or choose options if the two options are looking similar, confused between the two. See, over there you have to go by elimination method. If two marks are similar, two answers appear similar, you have to rule out which one is wrong. So once you rule out that this cannot be the answer, the remaining one should be the answer. So in such cases, elimination method might help. What should be done a day before exam? Just review. A day before exam, only review. Don't memorize a day before exam. Memorization should be done well ahead of time. Before the exam, only review should be done. क्वेश्चन का आंसर कुछ अलग है, उसके रिलेटेड जनरल आंसर लिखेंगे तो मार्क्स मिलेगा या नहीं? नहीं देखिए, you have to be to the point. If you start making stories unnecessarily, then the teacher will also get irritated. Okay. Okay, so that takes us to the end of the question answer session. I think I've tried to answer all the questions. So thank you very much. Saif Saab, are you there, or who is?
Jazakumullah, sir. Very nice, very interesting, very useful session. MashaAllah.
ठीक है. So I take your leave now.
Okay, Jazakumullah. And thanks to all the audience for attending and making it a lively session. Hope this will help all of us in other fields also, inshallah. Okay, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.